Would you and your celebrity crush be besties? That's today's question. Hi, I'm Sunny, and I have four piles you guys can choose from left to right. I have pile 1, 2, 3, and 4. So remember, if you need more time, you're more than welcome to pause the video and then select the pile when you're ready. So I will go ahead and start with pile number 1. So you guys have the Tower card reversed. So this is a no. You and your celebrity crush would not be besties. And the reason why you would not be besties is because I think you and maybe them as well, are in a phase of your lives where you guys would be, and I'm thinking about the present time mostly right now rather than the future. But with this pile, I feel that you guys would be going through a lot of turmoil, maybe a lot of changes, personality, like things that you're working on. And it might not be your most sociable time. I think it might be a little bit more isolated purposely, not because people want to leave you alone, but more so because you're kind of in this rut. And you know when people tend to be a little bit more, I don't want to say darks and heavier, but they're just gloomier because they're just going through stuff. It just feels like that, where you're not in the space to be as nice, right? Or sociable. It's a phase more where you're supposed to be working on yourself and motivated to kind of better yourself rather than encouraging friendships, for example. So this is why it would be a no. And I also think your celebrity crush is someone who has a lot of responsibilities, and maybe because they had a lot on their plate, everything kind of started piling up slowly, and internally they couldn't really express themselves that they were needing help or needing to change something. So maybe that's why they're having this tower moment internally, like everything's falling down because they just didn't speak up, or they just repressed their emotions. And that's why they're overwhelmed, because they know that they might be suffering some losses, and some of it could have been avoided had they just spoken up a bit more, and people might have listened. Or maybe just they are seeking, there you go, they are seeking support from that internal side, because they might not receive it easily from the outside, or at least if they do receive it, it's a support system that feels more tricky to navigate, because they don't know who exactly is thinking about their best interest with a pure heart, right? With good intentions. So maybe that's why they're suffering this tower card, that they have to overcome, basically things that they knew. I think they sort of know intuitively that some of these changes were coming, but they chose to kind of maybe push it away, but it kept piling and piling to the point where eventually they might have exploded or had like a meltdown, right? So it can be one of those things. So that's why it would be a no. So next, pile number 2, you guys have the 3 of Cups upright. So this is a yes for you, pile number 2. Did I say pile 3? I'm sorry if I did. But for this pile, it feels like you and your celebrity crush would be besties, because you guys would know how to have a good time. I think you guys are like two birds. I don't want to say two birds in a pod. It's two birds of a feather. Yeah, birds of a feather fly together. So yeah, I do think that you guys would have a great time. I think you guys might be the kind of people that are up for a party, or like are out there every weekend, right? And you guys would have a few drinks, or maybe you guys would get wild and like bar hop, right? Or go, it could be also coffee dates, but it just feels like you guys would meet up in a group setting where it would be a public space where you're celebrating, or you're feeling like you're in a celebratory feeling. So you guys could get in your feels, and you could be I don't know why I feel that both of you guys would feel like once you had a few drinks, you guys would be the hugging type of people, and then you guys would like sing along songs, do karaoke, or you guys could like vent about your emotions to the other person, like, I relate to you, like I went through that too, I have these love problems. So it just feels like you and your celebrity crush would relate in that way, where your emotions are in sync. And I think it's kind of a sweet emotion. I think that you guys would have a great time. And I think that you guys wouldn't even be just you two. I think you guys would kind of involve people. So like, I think there's a possibility, like if you guys meet up in a public space, you could be like, yeah, bring that person over. Like, yeah, what's wrong? Like, why are you like sad? Like, let's have a good time. It just feels like because you guys are having a good time, you want everybody else to have a good time. So it just feels like you guys would find good companionship, or like it would be a very healing connection, but you guys would have a lot of fun with each other. Or you guys could also do a lot of creative projects together, or just go out and like, I always use this because it's like one of those popular things where you guys could have like a painting session and you could be drinking wine, and you can just like eventually lose yourself in the extra drinks, and you might not realize that your painting kind of sucks. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I do think overall you guys would have a blast, or you guys could have a lot of things that are in common that you do recreationally, or any other creative endeavors, like your singing or your recreational habits. I can't think of another word to go, but imagine things that make you feel like you're not coherent, right? You know, those substances, anything like that. It could be like that. If you get what I'm trying to say. Anything that you could possibly smoke to, it could be like that, where you enjoy that feeling of like vibing kind of thing. So that's what I have for you, pile number 2. Next, pile number 3, this is a yes. You guys have the Judgment upright. So for you guys, pile number 3, I don't know why I did that. There you go. So pile number 3, you and your celebrity crush would be besties, because you would be praising each other a lot. I think that maybe you more specifically to them, because obviously you're starstruck by them, but I think you would be constantly like, I think of, is it Leo DiCaprio's meme where he's like throwing hearts at the friends or something, like when your friends post and you're the person who's always liking them and throwing hearts and stuff. That's you. It just feels like you would be like, yeah, I love that movie, you did great, or I can't believe you did that song, that was amazing. I get like, look what you got out of that heartbreak, that you did an amazing song, and it went to like the Billboard 100 or something, and then you went to the VMAs, or like, and you like collaborated with this other artist. Like, it just feels like you would egg them on, and they would be loving it, because they would be like, are you serious? Like, thank you, like kind of thing, where they kind of like not shy, but they would kind of be like accepting. They would eat it up. And that's why it would work in that way, where like it might not be that interesting to everybody to be like more interested in the other party than the other party into you, like as a person. But maybe that's your thing, where you're like, there's nothing really going on with my life that's super interesting. It feels more exotic to me knowing that you're out there into the public media where you get scrutinized and whatnot, and you have all these cool things and amenities to yourself and connections, popularity, and maybe that's interesting to you. Or like the fact that they travel a lot more, or just they have bougie items and stuff like that, or contracts that you're just like, please tell me more, like entertain me. It just feels like that, where you would be like I think you would be like represented like the people down here, like, please tell us more, tell us as peasants, I can't say that, tell us peasants about your wonderful life. Like, my 9-to-5 job ain't that cool, like, but your job's cool, like, tell me more about that. I can't believe you met this person. And it could be another celebrity crush that you have, and you're like, please tell me, like, you could be like, please tell me more. I want to know what's their favorite drink. Are they really nice? How are they in person? Like, it's just that, it's just that you are very intrigued, and you want to continue to compliment them, and you want to fish for that, and you're just constantly like raving about how great they are. And maybe that's why it works, where they're just like, they need a person who kind of peps them up and cheers them up, because maybe they just like that, or maybe they might not hear that enough. So they want to know what it's like to have a real person kind of stick around them and tell them how things really are. It just feels like you have a peppier personality that's enjoyable, and that's why they enjoy the friendship. So next, pile number 4, you guys have the 5 of Pentacles. I kept confusing it because it's 5 of Pentacles upright. So let me take a sip of water before I continue. Okay, so pile number 4, your celebrity and you, well, your celebrity crush and you would be besties because you would find solace in each other. I think that you guys could find the connection to be healing. It's like a place where you, well, the connection itself would be like a refuge to what you guys are usually used to, because maybe you've had a lot of losses and people haven't been there for you for like the long run, or maybe specifically them more than you. So maybe in that way they feel comfort in knowing that you're kind of like a stable person, or someone they can rely on, someone that's going to stick it through even in rough times. I don't think I how can I say this? I don't think you particularly feel that you would judge them harshly for their poor choices. I think that you would listen to them, you would care for them, and I think they would feel that that's coming from a very loving space from your part, that it would be very comforting for them to continue to have that connection as a friendship. So I think that maybe you're the kind of person they need on that recovery. Maybe they were in a tough spot and they fell into some shady habits, right? Or like they fell into like those groups that led them to those shady habits. And you're the person who kind of comes in and kind of like, you don't pep them up and you don't do the hard work. It's just that you're constantly there telling them like keep going, like motivating them, like that motivational friends who continue to do the hard work and to, do better and do different than what they are. So it could be like that where I keep saying it could be like that, and I'm sorry, pile number 4 and every other pile if you're still listening. I don't have that much variety in my words in my diction. So yeah, I do think that you guys would enjoy that. It might feel a bit like, I know I said it was like emotionally comforting because you're there, but from your side maybe you might not feel that relief of like super big on emotional stuff, like touchy stuff. Like they might not be that kind of person right away. I think it's something you might have to be patient with if you want them to like open up a bit more. They're not icy. They're just they're not socially awkward either. They're just the kind of people or person who takes a lot of time. Maybe they have a lot of boundaries to kind of open up. So when they do open up, they feel like they can find comfort and solace in you and the friendship. So keep that in mind, where it's not so much that they're earthy people and they're focused on finances and stuff, but they are focused on like connections that are worth your time and they're gonna last forever, and not connections that are just like short, superficial, and maybe a little bit stifling because they just want to be nosy with them. I just think that you might be different than what they're usually used to and they're surround themselves with. But overall, this feels like you guys would be very generous with them. I think that you maybe even for this pal, maybe it could be either or. But I feel you'd be the person who kind of helps them in the rough spot where if they took some poor decision making when it comes to their finances, or because they spend a lot in certain things they shouldn't have, for example, or they just didn't have a good financial advisor. Like imagine you being the financial advising friend, or the person who kind of works with money, for example, or like a manager or whatever kind of money making skills you have. You teach them a thing or two about like the maintenance and how you basically care for money when it's large amounts, right? Where to allocate it, where to invest, and when to save, when to spend, stuff like that. You teach them maybe also about like paperwork and meticulous things. So maybe that's why you come in to help them out, and it helps them learn that they know that you're not trying to take advantage of them, because it is your job. You're very diligent and very responsible. So it could be like that, or it could be that you help them out in a way where you maybe lend them money, or they lend you money and like they thank you for it, and they know that you're someone that's not gonna focus on them not having anything at some point and being low, when you could be the person. I'm wording this terribly, but they know that you're not like interested in just their money because you have your own money. Like you lend them some maybe in a rough spot because you believe in them, but they return it in return when it's not doable, but when it's they're trying to pay up and maybe they give you interest, it just feels like you guys work together good in a financial manner, or like you guys save each other from bad decision making when it comes to finances. Therefore, it's an appreciation for the friendship because you don't try to take advantage of the other person. It can be just your good, I can't even say it, your good heart, your good mannerisms, your good intentions, your generosity, your maybe like other like charity work. Sometimes it could be like that, where you can be. It's not so much. I think that's charity work is more like the other. I think it's the Six of Pentacles, but it just feels like that, where it's like you guys are concerned about each other's well-being, and like not maybe because one is older, like your celebrity crush should be older, and you're younger, you're savvier with maybe like money that's like online money, right? You're savvier and you're trying to make them realize that their money can be ill used if it's not like if they're not the people in control of that money, right? So take that as it resonates. So thank you guys so much for every pile. I think I spent too much time on the last pile, so I hope you guys enjoyed this so much, and I'll see you soon. So please like, subscribe, comment, and share. It helps me out with my algorithm and growing my channel, and I'll see you soon. So bye everybody.